The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for today's Hidden Gems of Dynamics GP webinar. Today we're going to be looking at basic word templates in Dynamics GP. My name is Mike McPhillamy, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Before we kick off, I do have a couple housekeeping items that I'd like to go through before we start. First, this webinar is being recorded. We do post all of our training content out on our Njevity.com website. We have an events page that you can find upcoming events, and let me pop over here to show it to you. It's our Njevity.com website. We have an events tab. You can find upcoming events as well as all of our recorded training content that we've done. You can find our Hidden Gems of Dynamics GP content here. So if you miss anything or want to go back and check out any of our other webinars, feel free to go to Njevity.com and navigate to our events page. Sorry, there we go. We always like to start each webinar with our mission statement because our mission is truly what drives every team member here at Njevity. We love Dynamics GP, and we're committed to the community, from the amazing enhancements we're making to PowerGP Online to enhance the user experience to the training that we do through webinar sessions like this. We truly strive to improve the life and success of our partners and customers by providing exceptional business application experiences that simplify, inform, and delight. I think really that's it from me. I'm going to go ahead and introduce today's presenter. Today we're joined by Cara Case, who's one of the applications consultants here at Njevity. Cara mentioned that she does not mind if you ask questions during her presentation, so I'll be monitoring the questions pane on the right-hand side. If there are questions, and if the timing is appropriate, I'll interject with the question. Otherwise, we can take questions at the end. Cara, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, for taking time out of your day to be here with us today. And as Mike said, my name is Cara Case, and I've been here with Njevity for about 4.5 years. Before that, I was a GP user for about 6 years. So we'll go ahead and jump right in today. So we're going to start with, the template I'm going to use is just going to be a basic invoice template. So when we start, we need to tell it which template we're going to be working with. So we're going to go to Customization and Report Writer. When you go into Report Writer, one key thing is before you make any changes, even if you're just inserting a report and not making any changes to the standard report, you want to make sure there's nobody logged into GP. And the reason being is if someone hits print on anything and you've got this open, you run a chance of it corrupting your whole dictionary file. So our first step here is we're in Report Writer. We're going to go to Reports, and then we're going to find the report that we want to create the word template for. So we're just going to go to, we'll use the SOP blank invoice form, and from here we'll just insert. And now we can go back to GP. And I find that this step is a step oftentimes that gets missed. So once you tell it that that's the form you're going to modify, you'll want to go to Administration and this Alternate Modified Forms and Reports. Okay. And then you'll choose the user. Most are just set as default users, but if you have different permissions for different users for different things, you'll choose from there. The type is going to be reports. And then under sales, we see the SOP blank invoice form, and we want to make sure we choose the modified form, and then we'll save that. So now we're going to create the word form template. So we go to Reports, and then you'll go here to Template Maintenance. Report name, we'll go to More Reports. That's Dynamics GP. The series we're working in right now is Sales. And we want to see only the ones that are modified. So that brings up this one telling us that this one is ready to be modified. So if you click on it, now we'll create a new template, and you'll choose from existing, and we'll create it. So now we have the template created that we can work from. You click modify at the top. It'll bring you here. At the top of the menu bar here, you'll want to go to developer. If you don't see this, when you do that, it means maybe the word add-in hasn't been added for you, which is something that very easily can be fixed if need be. So I'm going to go here to the field list, maybe. There we go. And the XML resource I want to choose will be the SOP blank invoice form. This gives me a list of all these fields that are in here within the form. So if I'm happy with the way this looks, you can leave it as is. So if you were to do, file, save as, and I just have a folder on my desktop to just, so this will just be the standard. So you'll just want to save it in a place where you know you can go back and find it quickly. So once I save it, I can close it now, go back into GP, and I want to add that back in. So here's my standard Word form doc. After you add it, you're going to want to assign it to a company. And since this one is just a standard template, we can set that as the default. So that's the template that all customers are going to see. Once I create the template, I always like to just double check it just to make sure that everything is there. So we usually just will open an invoice here. And just choose the first one. And I'll print, and you'll notice it says the blank paper. That's one you want. Print. And it'll change now from, it normally would say standard, now it says template, and you want it to the screen. So now you have just a basic Word form that's off just the standard report from GP. So now if you want to make some changes to that, say you want to put a logo on it or a different remit to address, or there's something that you want to change on there, we can go back into modify. Oops, I want to do that. I'll go back to my developer tab and my fields list. So in this field list, if you go to report header to start, these are all of the things that can be put in the header of the report. Anything that's in the body goes in the body. You can't, so if there's a field in the report header that you want in the body of the report, you can't do that. That would have to be more changes within Report Writer itself. So let's say we're going to do a logo here. Another key important thing is make sure when you're removing any content on this, you want to right-click and choose Remove Content Control. If you don't and you delete a field, it's going to break the connection between GP and the fields that are here. It'll break the connection and the form will print in all X's. So now I can add a logo, and I'll just come here. We'll add the Njevity logo, and I can adjust the size, anything I want to do here. Here we'll go ahead and take out the company name because we have the logo on. I'm going to remove content control and take that out. And then if you right click, and then you can just delete the row so that it just shifts everything up a little bit. Now maybe I want to add a remit to address. Maybe I want payments that anyone that's getting this invoice that has the Njevity logo on it, the payments need to go somewhere different. So I'm going to insert a table, and I'm just going to do maybe 5 rows. Whoops, my cursor was in the wrong place there. Right here. Okay, so insert a table. Well, now it won't let me. And we only just want 1 column. We'll do 4 rows. Okay. Oh, that didn't work either. Of course, it always works when you're testing and not on the phone. Let me try that again. Okay, so anyway, if it won't let you insert a table, you can always, we can type remit to Njevity Inc. Okay. Okay, so now I can save this, save as. One thing you want to make sure, and I didn't point out before, when you're saving it, make sure the box for maintain compatibility with previous versions of Word is checked. You'll save yourself a lot of issues by doing that. And I'm just going to, I'm going to create a new one here. We'll call it Njevity. Okay, save and close. I can close that. Now I'm going to have to add the template back in again. And I'm going to assign it, but I'm not going to set it as the default. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and assign it to a customer. So I'm going to add the little plus sign here, and I just want to assign it by a customer ID. So let's just assign this one to Aaron Fitz. And I want to save it. Now, if I can pull up an invoice, let's pull up an invoice for Aaron Fitz. Well, let's just create a new one. That way we know it's got the right customer. Okay. Select the customer. Click. Okay. And now if I print this invoice for Aaron Fitz, he's going to have the one with the new logo. But you'll notice my remit to information didn't print on here. So let's go back to the form. And we're going to modify it again. All right. Now I don't have to right click to remove content control on this because I'm not pulling it from any fields within GP. So I'm going to delete that. And now let me see if I can try this again. Okay, so there we go. There we can insert a table. And now I can do my address. Okay, and then usually what I will do is I'll right click on it. I'm going to go to the table properties, borders and shading, and I'm just going to say none. That way it just removes everything that's off of that. I'm going to save it again. Making sure that my box is checked. Okay, and then we'll go back into GP, add this one, and replace it. And now I'm going to try reprinting this invoice again just to make sure. that my changes were saved. And there we go. This type of stuff is really handy, especially if you have multi-entities or certain customers who need certain things on their invoices. And the modifications for any word form is standard. So whether you're doing a purchase order, packing slips, whatever you do, it's all the same process. So if you have vendors that need certain stuff on their purchase orders, but not every vendor, you can create different templates for different things. So let me just go ahead and avoid that one. Okay, so now let's create another template. We're going to modify just the standard one again. I'm going to go to developer, so I have my field list available. Okay, and this time I'm going to select a different logo. I'm going to remove the content control, and it'll remove that for me. Go to my pictures, my logos, and we'll do the PowerGP Online logo. So again, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to delete this. And now this one I don't really want the company address on here, so I'm going to remove this as well. So we'll remove it, and then I'm going to just delete the rows in there. Actually, right here. Okay. So now this time we will say, okay, on this invoice, this is a big one that people request to be taken off. They don't want customers to see the master number. So I'm going to remove the content control there and there. And now I can delete these two, the wording. And then what normally I do is I will select those and then just merge the cell. And then this we can, whoops. Okay. And merge the cell. And then I can kind of resize these a little bit if I want to do that. Okay. And then on here, now if I want to, again, going to insert a table. PowerGP Online. And this will go to a different address. And then say maybe I have customers that I want to give our ACH information to. Somebody wants to pay by ACH. I can enter another tab here. You can put your ACH, EFT, whatever you call it. Your account number, and then whatever other information you need there. So now I'll take this. I'm going to go to my table properties, borders and shading, and I'm going to remove the borders on here. And I'll do the same thing on this one. Okay. So now I have that the way I like it. Now I'm looking up here and I say, I wonder what other fields I can put. Is there anything else maybe that I want on here that's not showing, or anything maybe I want to take off? let's go ahead and take off the discount. We don't offer discounts to maybe certain customers. So now I can delete that. And now this is going to give me more room for my description if I need it. When you do that, when you merge sales, be careful to make sure you're only selecting a couple at a time. You don't want to merge these two cells, and you don't want to merge all four of them together. Otherwise, it's going to just be all mixed together for you, and that'll cause you some issues. And you probably want to merge all of the cells going down to give them extra room when you're removing information and stuff, because otherwise you're going to have this line that's going to print, and you don't want an odd looking line in the middle of your page. Okay, so now I'm going to save this one on my Word forms, options, and we'll just call this PGPO. I've got my maintain compatibility checked. Okay, so now I'm going to add this one into GP, and I'm going to assign it to Fabricam. And now I'm going to assign this one to another customer. And you could assign this by class, which that's kind of nice, because if you are working where you need different customers getting different invoices, if you assign them a class and then just assign the template to the class, then you don't have to assign it individually to the customers. But we'll just do this one. Now say OK. I'm going to save it. And now we'll just do a transaction entry again. I'm going to just double check to make sure that that looks the way we want it to. All right. Okay. And now I'll print it to the screen. And now we have the PowerGP invoice with the different information on it. And then there's also another thing here real quick. On these invoices that we're modifying right now, we are modifying only the open invoices, so anything that hasn't posted. You'll want to be sure that if you modify the open invoice, that you also do the historical invoice, which as a user years ago, I would always throw me off why one looked one way and the other one didn't. So, oops, come on. Customization, report writer. You'll just want to come back in and you'll look for the blank historical invoice form. So you'll want to make the same modifications to the historical one that you've made to the open one. And that process will be the exact same. You'll need to go back to administration, and this time, default user, reports, and modified. And then you'll go through the same process to the template maintenance. You're going to go to more reports, whatever series the report is that you're modifying. And now I have this one. So now I can select that, and I'll do new. And so you'll just want to make sure you go through the same process with each of them. There's a lot of different things that can be done here in, using word forms. You can make a lot of changes in Report Writer. They can then be exported and imported into as an XML resource into the form. Those you kind of have to be careful, because if you have anyone using the standard version of the form in GP, if you make any changes to it, it changes everything for everyone. So you want to make sure that if it's just something that you may need to put the field in a place where it wouldn't print on the standard invoice, but that's something that if anyone's interested, you can reach out to us and we can go over that. The main thing when you're editing these historical ones, most people like to take off the word historical. So we'll save that now back as our standard one. And we'll call it standard history. And close out of it. And then bring it in. And I will set it as default. Okay, so I kind of went through that kind of fast. Is there any questions? Does anyone, anything in particular you would like to see?
Feel free to answer or enter any questions in the questions pane on the right-hand side. I'm not seeing any questions right now, Cara.
I'm not either. And I know I went through that kind of fast, but it's a pretty simple process. I just didn't want to get into too deep on the right off the bat. No questions. Okay. Well, I guess you guys got a 30-minute webinar today instead of an hour. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help with any customizations or anything that you might need. Mike, I'll give it back to you.
Well, perfect. That was good stuff. As Cara mentioned, if there are any questions, oh, looks like we've got one added here. Let's see. Is there a way to have the footer stay at the bottom no matter how the body moves?
The footer should always stay at the bottom. It's anchored in as the footer is designed as an actual footer, so it'll be the footer on each page.
Perfect. Give me 1 second.
Okay, I just got this question. Why I right-click to remove content control. The content control is basically linking those fields with the fields within GP. So if you delete one, it's going to remove the link from everything. So you want to make sure you're only removing the link for that specific field that you're going to delete.
Let's see, are there any more questions? Not seeing anything else come in. If, as Cara mentioned, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can, oh, let me get in there. You can reach out to sales@njevity.com. I can pull in the appropriate person to answer any questions you may have, pull Cara in. But I think that's it for today. Just wanted to thank everybody again for taking time out of your day to join us. So yeah, you've got 30 minutes back in the rest of your day. Go out and check out any of the recorded videos that we've done on the events page. And again, sales@njevity.com if you have any questions. Thanks again.